Every automotive enthusiast loves performance cars. Their dramatic exhaust note is music to the ears. And things get even better if you have a car that helps you lift your game and yet allows you to play the everyday game. Our woman extraordinaire today identifies almost with every word that we have said so far. Meet Sonam Kalra, musician and founder of the Sufi Gospel Project. Sonam is a dog lover and a mother of 3. She's also a great performer. Her melodies are sublime, but what most people don't know is that she also, like us, is an automobile enthusiast and once hosted a car show on television as well. Now that's something that resonates with me perfectly. So a bonding session is absolutely due. Look at me using all these musical terms. Well, I'm going to go catch Sonam. Good to finally meet you.
Hello.
And I have a surprise for you.
Oh my God.
Bonding session is due. Yeah.
Wow, this is quite fab.
Yeah, since you're the car person, we thought we'd get... Oh, you know what? So that's what music to your ears is.
It's a good note, yeah.
And
Oh my God, beautiful. Oh,
that's what music to my ears
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
In fact, why am I driving? You're also a car buff.
Yeah, but not
Would you like to?
Yeah, of course I'd love to.
Of course, then let's go.
Are you sure you want to do this? You want to
Yeah.
put this car in my hands?
Absolutely, you must.
All right, we're going to be brave. I'm going to feel like a child in a candy store, Renuka. Thank you for this. Wow. If only life was as easy. That's it, right? At the press of a button.
Absolutely. I mean, I was so excited when, they told me I was doing this with you because woman after my own heart, someone who's done a car show.
Yeah.
So that was pretty incredible. The life journey, I mean, how did you go from stage to stage, car show and Sufi singer and so many things that you've done. Tell us about your life journey.
Well, I mean, firstly, thank you for having this conversation with me and thank you for having me here in this most incredible studio I've ever been in Mercedes.
Yes!
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So the car show actually happened by chance.
Yeah.
I had lost my voice when my mother got very sick.
Okay.
So she was detected with stage 4 lung cancer and I think the grief of it just made me lose my voice. I was already learning music and I had quit my job in advertising to pursue music quite seriously. But I think when you really allow yourself to listen, and I say this as a musician as well, and we just listen to the beautiful sound of this car, when you really allow yourself to listen, you will find the way,
Yeah,
and this, I just said I needed to do something. This wonderful opportunity came my way. I got to audition for a couple of travel shows and a couple of car shows. And it was the most exciting experience for me. And then when my voice came back through all of this work in television, through theatre, and this has happened to me twice, by the way. So clearly my voice is really straight from my heart because I lose it when I go through difficult periods. When my voice came back, I started learning music more seriously. And then when my mother got sick again, she got better and she got sick again. I think that was really a turning point for me. At that time I found theatre to help me get through the grief. And it was through theatre that I found music again. What I learned through theatre was that I needed to stop worrying so much about perfection. And actually I would find beauty in truth. And no matter how flawed my truth might be, it would still be beautiful because it was my truth and my story to tell. And I started then looking at my story versus everyone's perceived notions of perfection.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and perfection is also such a personal, you know how we choose cars.
Right.
You know, it's such a personal thing. Your level of perfection, my level of perfection, somebody else's level of perfection.
Yeah.
And what a really perfect car is can be absolutely different things to different people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think what you're saying is completely right. It is something that has to come from within, you know.
And you know, since we're talking about listening, I was reading after you told me the car we were getting, I was reading about this car.
Yeah.
And this car really listens.
So all you have to do is go, hey Mercedes, and I've switched the feature off right now
Yeah,
so that
'cause you
it
would have been
doesn't
talking to
interrupt us when we do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just go, hey Mercedes, and you can ask it pretty much anything.
No,
and
I
it
was
will
reading
tell you.
somewhere that you can say, I feel cold, and
Yes.
it will change the temperature. Now, if only I had people in my life like that who would actually
Yeah.
listen to me like that.
Yeah, so absolutely, you know, it's intuitive, the MBUX system and Mercedes, how it responds to you. As you drive the car, it also gets used to you as a person and knows the things you want. So
Which
you can
is
say,
good.
hey Mercedes, set the temperature to...
And so, you know, you're talking about intuition. For me, eventually, all of this that happened in my life was
Yeah.
trusting my gut. I always trusted my inner GPS.
Yeah.
And I just said that I'm going to hear what my intuition says, and I'm not going to listen to what the world says outside. I started Sufi music really when, again, I come back to my mother being sick. I started singing a lot of Amazing Grace. I was drawn to this gospel hymn, and it's the only thing I found solace in.
Okay.
And I started to think about why I was finding solace as a sick girl in this gospel hymn that I hadn't grown up listening to, that I hadn't been taught in school or in any class
Yeah.
that I ever went to.
Yeah.
And so I decided to delve into that, and I learned gospel. I traveled to Singapore. I would save money. I would go learn from this teacher. I'd keep coming back. So I did this for about a year, back and forth. And then I started singing gospel music in Delhi, and everyone was like, the question I would always get
Yeah.
asked, because people don't like it if you sort of break the norm. How does a Sikh girl sing Christian music and gospel music? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why don't you just sing Shabads?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I should be allowed to express my truth, call out to my God, my beliefs in
Yeah.
whichever way felt appropriate.
Yeah.
And you were saying, you know, it's all about it being so personal, but
Yeah.
eventually, sorry, that was a bit of a...
No,
That was a nice ride,
you're
but-
just getting to enjoy this car. I'm seeing that you're now getting into the groove and
Yeah.
really
I
enjoying
was
it.
driving slowly because I was being a bit careful. But yeah, so then I got invited to the Dargah of Sufi Inayat Khan to sing.
Yeah.
And that was another turning point, and I'm going to say this in a lovely cliche manner as we turn. But,
Yeah.
you know, it was for me, there was that, again, listening. How does a Sikh girl get invited to a Sufi Dargah to sing gospel music? Like, how
Yeah.
does that even happen? In which
Yeah.
reality?
Yeah.
In which world?
Yeah.
And so I then decided that that's when I wanted to blend many different voices of faith, Sufi
How
music,
wonderful.
bhakti.
I'm getting goose flesh when you say this. You know?
No, I'm happy to hear that. I call them truth bumps, by the
Yeah.
way. You know, after discovering that truth
Yeah.
can be so powerful.
Yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
God, listen to that sound. You know,
Okay, now that it's a little empty, you can put your foot down a bit as well. I can see that you're really enjoying this.
Yes, I am.
So I'm going to make it even one better for you. So this
You're going to
car
go to
has
another
a
mode.
variety of modes. Yeah, I'm going to put it into dynamic select, where you can actually individualize everything, literally from the drivetrain, moderate. So I'm going to put it into sport, or actually even dynamic for you. Now you can enjoy it.
It just really hugs the curves. It's so beautiful. It feels, I don't know, it feels
You feel
like
powerful, right?
Not just that, but it's just like you feel really like a great sense of equilibrium in this car, like you're really centered.
Yeah.
You know, everything's just holding nicely or feeling rooted.
Yeah.
You know, which is like, I need to feel rooted when I sing.
I was just going to ask you, is that what
Sorry.
music does for you?
I really do feel at that one moment when I'm singing that my whole world is in equilibrium. There is nothing around me. There is no distraction. There is nothing's a flutter, nothing's out of where it should be. You know, all the pieces fall into place.
Yeah. That for me is driving, you know, it becomes like my zen, my focus, my concentration. It just brings me back to this place.
center, right?
Yeah, the center. And I think it's wonderful when you have a passion that actually centers you so much, and you know.
And this car feels like that. You know, it's feeling really, it's feeling like it's very grounded.
Yeah.
And because it's gripping the road so very beautifully.
Yeah.
And it's so steady and solid. Like a good relationship should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically what you did was an AMG. You just kind of raised the bar, evoked emotion, and you know, changed the whole tack and did something that's completely different, you know, set yourself apart from the rest. Was that challenging? Yeah, you had a great first show, but then from there on, were there challenges, you know, in convincing people?
Yes, you know, when I created the Sufi Gospel Project, it was brave because I was taking what was very rooted in tradition for centuries, not just a few years. It had been around, and I was changing a definition of it to suit myself.
Absolutely.
But what was incredible to me was the number of people it resonated with from the very first show, where I remember when I finished singing, we got a standing ovation, and I was in shock. I didn't even realize it was a standing ovation, because for me it was just important to go out there and do this. I was really doing it at the time. I just lost my mother at the first show. Okay. I was doing this because it was, you know, she always wanted me to sing.
It was also the emotion.
There was this magic moment where, I mean, again, everything was in equilibrium, but it felt orchestrated because there was silence. Everyone stopped clapping. We had a long standing ovation, and this really old lady walks up to the front of the stage, literally, slowly, and she says, "Straight from your lips to God's heart, my child." And I like wept. I was just like, how beautiful is that? And I felt like she'd heard.
Yeah, amazing. So, Sonam, is your regular day as power-packed as this car is?
Oh my God, I wish. I mean, it doesn't run as smoothly, unfortunately, but it is pretty power-packed. I mean, one of my friends was joking about the fact that, like, Sonam, you don't do anything like in small measures. So I have 5 doggies who are the loves of my life.
Amazing.
And along with 3 human children as well.
Lovely.
Well, also the loves of my life, but I was getting to that in sequence.
Even in automobiles, like, you know, this car offers you performance, but it's also got practicality. Yeah,
And
it's not
it's
just
so
a
good
two-seater.
looking, my God.
So life is also about that, right? The balancing act, and with music you have Riyaz, and then you have young twins, and you have dogs. How did you manage it all?
I think for me the nights are really the time when there's silence.
Yeah.
I've always been a night person, so when the rest of the world is quiet, at the witching hour, I think I'm awake and I'm trying to figure stuff out and I listen to my head. Even when I worked in advertising, I think I used to keep a notebook by my bedside, and I would really write down all my ideas. So my phone is filled with notes and ideas. I do also believe, like, if your heart is big, your home can always accommodate more. And so if your heart is big and you make room, and I think the more things you make room for in your life, the more you are able to manage. Yeah.
Amazing. So you spoke about your children, but you also grew up listening to, like, Begum Akhtar and Ella Fitzgerald, you know, quite a diverse. So when did music start to define your life, and how did that seed of music begin?
My clearest memory of it is about three and a half, three and a half. I remember my mom had this amazing, they had the spools and then they had the turntable. And she was constantly playing everything from Ella Fitzgerald, Harry Belafonte, Frank Sinatra, to Begum Akhtar, Pandit Jasraj, Bhim Sen Joshi. And you know, there was always music playing, and it was in the living room, which was the hub. And it's funny that you don't realize what you're taking in, and it's going into your subconscious.
Yeah.
But I mean, now one of the pieces that I sing is Leonard Cohen, and I remember listening to it as a child, thanks to my sister.
Yeah.
So all of these influences, I think so much, again, and I come back to listening, so much of what you learn doesn't necessarily always come from actively doing, but from opening yourself up to listen. Even when we learn from people's opinions, it's when we're listening and not just talking over them. When we're listening to music, we're learning. When we're listening to other musicians perform, when we're watching other arts, everyone seems to love the sound of their voices so much that they don't listen enough.
Yes, social media has really changed the way we look at the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, but that's fascinating. And then I'm just wondering, so you had music, it was a passion, but then you did advertising. Why?
I sang through college, but I didn't want to take it up seriously is because I was afraid to fail at it.
Yeah.
Because of the perfectionism, which is good and bad, right? And you have to find the middle path. And as I said to you, when I discovered through theatre that it was okay to tell your truth even if it had imperfections, and there could be beauty in imperfections. And I also, when I realized that, it was so freeing and so empowering that then I was able to go from 0 to 100.
Lovely. But when you're saying that, I relate everything to cars in my life, so you have to forgive me for this.
Please.
But it's just, like you have that passion, I have this passion. So, like this car blends luxury and performance.
Yeah.
It blends it, but it blends the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done with Sufi and Gospel. You've kind of blended the best of both worlds. Is there the next level, the bar that you want to raise?
And I've taken away in my head, I don't want to compete with anyone else because I think that clouds your judgment.
Yeah.
And you must always just really compete with yourself. But what happened for me in creating the Sufi Gospel Project was that it opened my mind to understanding inclusion, equality, these themes on a larger level. This was, I grew up in that kind of environment at home as well. I'm one of 3 girls, and my dad always said, you're not equal to men, you're way better. And that's how we grew up.
Yeah. Did you always get asked that question when you were doing the car show? How does it feel to be in a man's? Oh my God.
So yeah, that really annoys me. It still annoys me when people make that kind of judgment.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this because we're 2 women sitting in the car, is a lot of the male Sufi poets, we're talking about a man's world, a lot of the male Sufi poets wrote in the feminine form.
Correct.
And they wrote in the feminine form because they believed it was only a woman's heart that was truly capable of that kind of love, that kind of surrender without ego.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful that you realize the importance of women even then, and the divinity in women. We've always said we were goddesses. This car is really super. By the way, the steering wheel is amazing. What an unusual shape. What is this? Why is it like a little bit?
It's just the AMG steering.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It just gives you that sporty feel.
Yeah, it's really fabulous. So what I love, I have to say, is that it's kind of got a nice, it's very sporty, but it's also very stylish. I like the trim here, the white stitch.
Yeah. And these days with cars, everything's just so easy. You have your wireless charger. Everything's just
so I'm saying you can live in this car.
At hand.
You can live in this
Great
car quite
music
easily.
system. Why don't we do that? Let's pull up a Sonam song.
So then,
Okay, tell me your favorite and let me see if I can pull it up.
I think we can do Alfat. It's a little bit fun.
Alfat?
Or Manmanam. Maybe Manmanam.
I had pulled it up earlier because I was listening to some of your music. There we go. So this car has this really amazing Burmester sound system.
Wow. So are those speakers?
Yeah.
I was wondering, that's why I touched it. I was like, it sounds beautiful, like it's coming from there.
Yeah.
Babe, this is amazing. This is really...
And I've set it to surround, so
I was just going to say it's got a really nice... So you can change the settings.
Yeah, you can change it to where you want to focus the sound and everything. So
I have just a quick question. Can I keep the car?
I wish. I've asked the same question a couple of times myself.
Only a couple? I would imagine you would have asked it many, many times. It's so easy to fall in love.
Do you often listen to music in a car? Like for me, driving is my zen, my meditative state, focus,
Yeah.
Is that what music does to you? And like if you're out on a trip, or do you listen to a lot of music?
100% I do. But what's really interesting is whenever I'm about to release a song, I will have my final listen in the car.
Oh, how?
Before to check the mix of the audio, because that people exactly as you said, a lot of people listen to music in cars. So you want to make sure your song sounds really good in a car and on a phone. But of course, and you've noticed this. Everyone's noticed this, that when you listen to music in a car, outside also feels like, no matter if there's chaos outside, the minute you switch a song on, suddenly all that chaos seems to be in time with the music, and it eases all of that chaos visually, or, it's quite amazing.
Yeah. I can clearly see you know, music is everything about you. It's, you know, just the way you speak. It's about, it's passion, it's emotion, it's all, you are music.
And all good things, you know, Renuka,
Yeah.
all good things take time. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't make something of beauty if
Yeah.
you don't spend time on it, you know, and if the foundation is strong.
Absolutely.
You know,
There you go.
you can build up from a strong foundation, but if
Yeah.
you just sort of cloud everyone's judgment with the bells and whistles and there's nothing underneath, then
Yeah.
what's the point?
Well, obviously the foundation was very strong because everybody's aspired for a three-pointed star at some point in their life.
I know.
You know?
Can you imagine? How
Yeah.
amazing is that?
Yeah.
And what a great story, right?
Yeah.
What a great legacy.
Absolutely. Your calendar has been packed. You know, it's been Jaipur Lit Fest, the Kolkata Fest, where Lit Meet where Shakti performed, Sacred
that was
Spirit
amazing.
Festival, summers at NCPA.
Yeah.
What do you think led to Sufi music getting a bigger platform?
So, you know, I mean, of course, it's been, there have been the greats who've sung Sufi music,
Yeah.
and Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab would really be one of the people who's responsible for having popularized Sufi music. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, when he came, he changed the landscape to a large degree. Abida Pravin, absolute legend, and oh my God,
Yeah.
the voice that
Yeah.
always touches my soul, no matter, you know, when you hear her. To me, she has to just sing one word, and she has my heart at that moment, and she's sort of dug into my soul.
Honestly my favorite kind of music when I listen to Indian music.
Yeah.
is Sufi. I love the way it sounds. Like you said, the words.
They say there's a call to God, and it connects you with your
Yeah.
innermost self. And it's lovely because each person is able to interpret what they're listening to in their own personal way.
Yeah. It's been amazing having this conversation with you, Sonam. So many things going through my mind just now. Fascinating life and journey, and hope it keeps going
I
higher.
hope so too.
Yeah.
I hope it keeps going like this car from 0 to, what is it? 0 to 100 in what?
5.3 seconds. It's that quick. So Sonam, thanks for giving us a little peek into your life. It's really been a wonderful day, and so many of the stories you told me gave me goose flesh, really inspirational. What's next for Sonam Kalra?
Gosh, what's next? First of all, I think what's next is me saying thank you to you for an absolutely spectacular day. I loved chatting with you. I loved the car. I still haven't been able to convince you to give it to me, but I'm going to keep working on that.
Yeah.
But what's next? I don't know, Renuka. I've never really planned as such. I like to sort of, as I said to you from the very start, I like to hear what the world has in store for me. But I do know short-term goals. What's next is we are releasing a lot more new music. This lovely month of June with all its beautiful heat allows us to sort of stay indoors and ideate. So I'm creating some new music. I am doing some, as I was saying to you earlier in our off-camera conversations, I'm doing some collaborations with women, and I found it very interesting that I've been drawn to this sort of need. I found myself needing and wanting to collaborate with women, and it's I think it's perhaps that time that one is finding strength in the sisterhood, or you know, in strength in other women's voices, and it's a time for collaboration. So I'm looking forward to those collaborations. I have 2 songs coming up where I'm singing with Rajasthani women singers. I have a video that's being animated. A graphic artist is animating it. She's from Iran. I get to do this wonderful show with you. So I'm thinking that the universe is telling me this is going to be the year of women, for me at least, to sort of collaborate and find strength.
Lovely. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.